This is VK7 OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association Southern Tasmania, with our digital amateur television night presentation for the 22nd of January 2020. And I have familiar faces in the studio in Hayden, VK7HH, and Richard, VK7ZBX. And the very first thing, greetings.
Greetings.
Sorry.
Hello, viewers.
Now, something happened last weekend.
Yeah,
lots of things happened last week.
Yeah. The main event that happened last weekend.
The field day, yay.
The field day. It's the summer VHF UHF field day. And there were people all over the place. I think we did a good job of getting
we
people
distributed
out.
ourselves quite reasonably well.
I think, there was stations all over the place, weren't there? We weren't sort of pointing in one area. It was
In fact, quite the
dotted
opposite.
around.
We were actually spinning the beams around. Note to self, have a mechanism for rotator.
Oh, well, and note to self, put 6 metre beam on in the same direction as the 70 centimetre beam. But anyway, we'll get into that later.
180.
Indeed.
So, where were you two?
We were at QE37 Oscar Charlie, which is the little car park off to the side of the road, almost before you get to the summit of Mount Wellington. I think there is a little one just down, but we were in the slightly larger one.
Okay.
That grid square covers the summit as well.
Which is enough room for a Hilux and for a Subaru and a blow mould table between the two, and that's probably about it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
We couldn't get the awning out.
No, we had quite a few different setups, and it's like,
The plan
that's not going to work.
The plan was to get the awning out to save us from the sun.
Right.
But then there was a distinct lack of sun, so we...
So, well, at first there was a distinct lack of sun,
Right.
and then that changed.
Yes. I had a similar situation because I was parked just off the road, which was about the same size as I suspect you're talking about, which was the width of the van. And if I put the awning out, it would have been written off by the people driving past.
Well,
we had witches' hats, and there was a couple of instances where Hayden's like, look out. These people, one guy was actually had part of his car on our side of the witches' hats. And we're like, buddy, what are you doing?
And then we had another guy that stopped out the front.
Flung the doors open and just took a photo.
And then another guy, he just sat there and he looked at us. And he looked at this where the summit was. And then he looked at us again. And he just pulled in to where we were.
Did about 97
No, you can't do that. And then you're going, no. And they're in the front seat just waving. No.
He's like making the thing to sort of turn around. I said, just keep driving to the top.
Drive to the top and you can turn around.
And he's like, no. And he's done like a 97-point turn. There's a heap of cars all lined up there.
And we thought, the 10 gig dish is going to get hit here, but he turned around and he drove off. But that might be in funny stories.
And
like that.
drove back down again. Yeah, well, that's sort of missed the summit really altogether.
Yep.
So I've just got a few little hints here. Some trials and tribulations of the day.
Generators and things. Generators and other animals.
Now, what happened to the generator, may I ask?
Well, the generator was doing a wonderful job.
Okay.
Oh, was it?
It was, I think, probably at its limit. It was 1100.
From a load point of view?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was doing some weird things, as we discovered later.
The load I don't think it appreciates that. It likes a constant load.
Yeah. Okay.
So it doesn't like sideband. If you're using sideband where the load's fluctuating, it doesn't like that.
We gave it a few tests. We sort of tested with a few stations thinking that we might have had some weird sort of signal conditions and noises. And as everything was all clean, so we thought, we'll just give it a crack.
Okay.
And it was going really well.
And we'd used that generator before.
That's right, we had used that generator up on One Tree Hill to work in a ZL on 2 and 70.
And it was fine.
And it was great. It was quite happily sat there. But in all of the jiggling and jumping and jostling around, it became apparent that the oil filler had become not its optimum tension.
No.
So the oil filler cap.
So the oil, because you know how you've got the little bit in the side, and each side of those little engines, that you basically fill it up until it's full.
Until it gets to that level. Yeah.
Well, obviously, one of those had become loose.
Right.
And it had vibrated out, and because the thing was running at sort of probably its almost capacity, there was a bit of vibration going on.
Yeah.
And it's just gradually unscrewed and it's got to the point where it's fallen out, in which case it's gone, cool, now I can empty all the oil out. So it's blown all the oil out through the hole. And of course, then the oil pressure switch has gone, ooh, that's not good,
And shut down.
and shut down.
Thank
Mid,
God.
mid contact.
Mid VK5 contact on 6.
Oh, it's like I'll just
Where did they
exchange.
go?
I'll just exchange numbers with you. 5-9. Oh dear.
Everything's gone quiet.
Hmm.
It's like, so of course, normally when you walk up to a generator and you see everything covered in oil,
That's
it's
not
like,
good.
Well, what happened here? And luckily the bung was sitting right next to it.
That's right. So it didn't look like it had been blown out. It had just fallen out.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, it's like,
Did you actually know that it had a low oil cut out at that stage?
No, we discovered that very quickly.
assumed maybe that it wouldn't because it was a Ryobi cheapie.
Yeah.
Like again, it wasn't like
Okay.
a $2,000 Honda.
But it didn't sort of die slowly though.
No, it just went burst.
It went. We heard it go bang, and then
Okay.
it just
Okay.
died.
So anyway,
Right.
So it lost pressure very quickly.
there was a few contingencies then about like, what are we going to
Do
do?
we
now?
because we had everything set up. So we had both cars that had plates that were holding the masts, and we had dishes.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
We'd have to pack everything, at least one of the vehicles up.
Yep.
We're like, do we go down? Do we get oil? Do we get someone else to get
So
oil?
we sort of started thinking, who can I ring? So my neighbour's got a 2 kVA, like a Honda thing, so I've rang her and said, can I borrow your generator? And she's like, we're in town. I'm like, that'd be right. So then it's like, I had a generator at home, and I thought, this one at work, but then I don't have to ring someone and get them to go to work. It's like, so then we looked at one another and went, maybe we can sweet talk Rex.
Might ring Rex. So Rex brought not only oil, but his own generator.
Okay.
So that helped us on this.
And remember, if I wasn't at Eagle Hawk Neck, I have a generator as well, Honda generator as well. So,
I'll put that in the database.
Yes, do that.
but wouldn't have been any good to you because I was.
You were using it.
No, I wasn't using it, but I was elsewhere.
But and that was it. And using Rex's Honda generator didn't have the same issues on sideband or anything. And we had multiple radios running, and
The regulation's much better on a Honda generator.
It was really good.
So,
Very good. That would work.
very good indeed. Very good indeed.
So we got back on the air, and the Czech Rex's little generator was a little Honda EU10. It did a fantastic job.
Yeah, they do.
And
you
obviously
don't have
that's why you sort of separate, as they say, separate the men from the boys when it comes to
Generators.
paying $200 for a generator,
Or
probably
being
four or five times that, you know.
or being at Don Max at exactly the same time as the guy who walked into it was selling the generator to upgrade, and I looked at the guy and I said, "So how much do you want for that?"
Yeah. Actually, there was an EU10 on gum trailing at the moment for $500 odd.
So this is your arrangement
Yeah,
on screen currently. So actually, that parking bay just nicely fits that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's very much.
That one's got a very good outlook north, but it doesn't have a very good outlook towards where you were,
No.
unless you cross the road to the
Yeah,
other side,
okay.
which
But
is
then
a
you
bit
haven't
hairy.
got much.
Well, actually, as we
Oh
just,
no, there's plenty of room. It's just getting the power over there was the
Yeah,
problem.
okay.
I
Okay.
mean, especially with the traffic, we didn't really want to run a container or anything.
So this is the 10 gigs.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
What's this one?
that's 3.4.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the new.
the coffee can
That's
feed.
the new 3.4.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the ability to test that.
Oh, okay.
So that was its first outing.
Right. Oh, hang on. There's a grid pack up here.
Yep. So that's
There's a grid pack right there.
2.4.
Okay.
and then above that is
So it's 2
2
metres
meters.
above that.
Okay. Yes.
And you'll notice quite a large 5-element, 6
6 metre beam,
Okay.
which we assembled on site just behind the two vehicles. There's a remarkably flat section,
Yeah.
Okay.
and we discovered one of the issues of building antennas using the light 1.6mm wall RHS.
Yep.
The little metal screws will grab in it quite nicely the first time.
The first time,
But not
well and
after
truly.
that.
But I believe nut certs will definitely be required for
Well,
a few
And
days.
we've also discovered that possibly for future field days, we might be able to exploit that area to mount temporary antennas up there too.
I think,
Okay.
so if we
Because
could
it's
get...
nice and flat and it's got a little bit more elevation.
Yeah, it allows you to see that into town quite...
And we may even be able to lug the dishes up there into a flat spot and run the IF down further.
Yeah.
And you can see a lot more.
It's
I
amazing.
can
We
hear
were
some-
quite a tourist attraction, I believe.
Yeah, we had. There
you could actually
there
hear-
must have
you
been
could-
about 6,000
You
cars
could hear
that
the
drove
sound
past.
of the people coming up the hill. I'd be like, bah,
And you hear this
as they drove past us.
and then everyone would be head out the window going, "What?" At one point, I said to Richard, "How long is it before do you reckon we end up on like the Vigilante News Facebook page or something with
Yeah.
idiots
Spies
up
on Mount Wellington or something.
Yeah, yeah. Like, what is
So
going
what
on
are you
here?"
guys up to?
No one stopped to ask though,
Okay.
No.
and
no,
the good thing is that location you can't really stop to ask. So
No, without a whole heap of cars behind you.
mm.
So, okay, so trials and tribulations. Well, definitely. I have one, which I mentioned earlier.
Correct antenna orientation.
Yes, when you put up the antennas, you really do need to check that you have all the beams actually facing in the same direction. I
We
don't know what
tried
I
to
was
do
thinking.
ours
Well,
from the ground, but
Richard came up with a very good idea with his, and he colour coded the elements of the 6 metre Yagi. So he sprayed painted the
Yeah, no. Well, I've
And-
done it with electrical tape.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
a very good idea because you
Yeah.
can just go. You don't have to measure anything. You don't
No,
have to write on it.
just-
you just
That's
push it in
spot
and
on.
yeah.
eventually we'll have like we'll put some nutserts in the boom
Yep.
and then just have like some wing nutty or wing bolty type
Yeah.
things that you can just put in and
Yeah.
like you can do them up with a rattle.
But
gun,
those
just as quick,
antennas work really well.
but- I was pretty impressed with how it
Mm.
worked.
No, spot on.
Mm.
Spot on.
It's my track record of building Yargies, but anyway.
They were really good.
No,
And the
it's
6
fine,
metre
it's
one wouldn't quite go up far enough, but the 2 metre one did both 146 500 and
Yeah.
144. So
fine. Okay,
mm.
that's excellent. So, some learnings.
bring 2 generators.
Or oil, at least. Yeah.
Tighten
Yeah.
the bung.
Look, that's not, well, it was a work generator, so that's probably my bad. So I'm supposed to be field tech looking at the generators and things.
I think the plan is at least one of us is going to get a Honda generator going forward if we're going to be doing this. The VK3KQ, when I do this video,
Yep.
they've got a setup where they've got 2 EU22s
Yeah, okay.
and
Linked
they
together.
and they link
Nice.
them together. They feed them
Which
from the same
You
fuel.
can.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
they've got 2 EU10s as backups.
Oh,
And it's like, yeah, these guys.
But this is the
freaks.
thing, you
Okay,
see
I'm
some of
serious
these
about
guys.
this.
And some of the stuff, like they had this rotator controller that it's touch screen, and it comes up, and then they've got all of the locations. They can
Okay.
they can go to a grid square,
yeah, yeah.
or they can go to like Hobart, Launceston,
Yep.
a call sign, and I'm looking at it going,
Wow.
"Oh, this is
Pretty impressive.
this is smart."
This is the sad thing, is that the more you think you're prepared, the more you look
No.
at someone else's rig and
No,
you
no.
go, oh dear,
No,
I'm
no.
very poorly prepared.
I'm just happy. Probably one of my learnings is I'm just happy to get more points each time I do
Yeah,
it. Which is if I do that, that's
Well, I've made
that's
some
good.
modifications too to the plates, because originally the
That worked
plates
well.
I had
Mm.
were just a pieces like 600 square of 8mm steel plate with
Yep.
like a piece of tube welded to them.
Yep.
And it had like a in fact, the first one Murray and I did, the first field day we did, it didn't actually have any method of locking it, which was a bit tricky when it was
Okay.
windy. But I just ended up drilling a hole and welding a nut on,
Yep.
and then put a bolt in as like a lock
Yeah,
screw.
okay.
But the problem was then you had to build the mast with the 3 antennas somehow, and then pick it up and drop it in the hole.
And that's the issue I've got.
And when I built it for the last field day,
Yep.
I think Ben came by to pay a visit.
Yep.
He quite kindly helped me build it, and I lifted it up and plonked it in. But then, of course, he very
Yeah.
rudely didn't come and help
You
me
take it down.
back.
well, it's a
So it's like-
one man job now.
So it's
which is
like
good.
Yeah.
so that's how come a few of the elements had to be replaced, because it's like oh.
Yeah, well, bang.
So now I've just basically made a tilting plate with 2 bolts. So basically you can tilt it from, I don't know whether I've got.
Yeah. When you prepared earlier.
Where would we be without pictures on our phones? Goodness gracious.
Wow, exactly.
So that probably sort of shows it.
Oh, so you actually take the bolt out and then you
Yeah.
you lean it over.
Concept behind that is that I took up a crappy old folding sawhorse, and that was able to actually lean the mast up against it, so that then you could quite happily build the antennas and then just tilt the whole thing up.
So you've got the bottom bolt. I assume is a locking bolt.
No, well the bottom bolt
No, that's
actually
the
comes
Is
pivot.
there
down.
it pivots?
Yeah.
No,
Ah,
actually,
okay.
no, it actually
Oh,
pivots on the next one.
Sorry,
The
yeah,
next
you're
one.
right.
And
yeah.
so that's a locking bolt.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's excellent.
So then you've got the bolt on the side, which I very remissly didn't weld another piece of like 10mm rod onto, so you can just tighten it up with your hand.
Yeah, okay.
We actually left a shifter there at all times.
Yeah, we had a shifter there.
No, okay.
But that makes it really
good.
easy because you just fold it straight over.
And you don't. The problem I've got is because you welded the bit of tube on the plate for me.
Yeah.
The problem I've got is you've got to lift that out and then you've got to walk it down, but it's got to be in something where it's not going to...
Where the bottom's not going to scale out,
yeah. So that's a fantastic idea.
And the only other way that you could probably do it is
we'll work for
driving is driving off the plate and then lowering it, but then if you're in the car, you don't want it to fall over while you...
No, correct.
Yeah.
I actually ended up, because it's towards the front of the vehicle, is actually putting the foot of that pole into the tyre, actually, and taking it down that way. But there's just that moment where the balance, you haven't quite got the balance right.
Well, that's one man operation.
And you can hear the music playing.
That's one man operation now, and it's really easy. And the other thing too is if you keep that top bolt loose when you do it, then what you can do is attach your antenna any way you want, so that you're not gonna, you could lean the reflector on the ground while you do it up.
Yeah.
Then you lift it up, and then you can orientate it and then tighten it. You don't have to sort of,
we actually
mess around. And
that's good.
For the one with the 3 antennas that had the 1296 and the 70 centimetre and then the 6, we actually put the 1296 on the very top.
Yep.
And then the 70 down only probably 500mm.
Yep.
And then when we leant it up in the air, we then sort of jumped up on the roof of the Hilux and actually stood there and sort of bolted it on.
Put the 6 metre
Hayden just passed it across.
Because the 6 metre one's too large to do that on the ground.
And that's the problem I have, because the 6 metre, I put 6, 2 and 70.
Yeah, which is probably
the other way
way
around.
to do it, yeah.
But the problem is, as soon as you put the 6 metre one on, you've got to put it up.
Yep.
You can't lean it down. So that's it gets a bit tricky there.
It is the right way to do it. Have the lower frequency run high and obviously get it higher, sort of more wavelengths above the ground.
But then they also say then there's more loss because the coax got to run further.
Yeah, on 6.
But with your 23 centimetre antenna, you don't have any choice. It has to go on the top.
No,
that's because the way it's mounted.
So cool. Okay.
So that was a good learning.
That's a fantastic idea. That's really, really good. Okay, thank you.
No worries.
So scores, how did you go? Now,
I believe
you two were actually operating the club station.
Yeah, we actually did
multi-operator.
a first for us. We actually did a multi-station, which was pretty cool, and we used VKCL in multi-user mode.
Which apparently is only the 3rd station in Australia to use that.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And
cool.
We discovered, maybe everybody else knew this, but I certainly didn't, being used to dealing with Wi-Fi, where normally clients that connect to an access point are normally got some sort of client isolation. So, but I discovered my tinkering before the contest that
your phone doesn't have that.
My phone doesn't have that. So we were able to set up like a Samba share on one machine, and Hayden was able to connect to it, and it worked a treat.
Yep, we didn't have any glitches.
Wow.
It just worked.
Even though the internet was somewhat poor, we just basically needed to keep the time synchronated.
I think for future, what we'll do is get some sort of induction cradle to put your phone in and have an external aerial set up, I reckon.
That's right. Oh, we only use it because I had
it's
data on the phone.
It's very poor on the mountain.
Yeah. There's so much crap up there.
Oh, well, even off just for the side, because of the height, there's no mobile phone panels point up at the mountain. So
yeah.
It's very poor coverage.
So it worked really quite well. The software worked really well. We didn't have any glitches. There was a couple of moments when like the generator failed, but luckily we had laptops which had batteries, so they didn't
going.
sort of glitch or anything. But
but we scored 30,000, just over 30,000 points.
30,000 points, which was
Wow. Okay.
For 8 hours.
But mainly thanks to your wicked effort on 6 metres at the start. I'm sort of running around trying to sort of get the fight a bit, and I was like, I'm working on these guys on 6.
I think in the first, because the generator failed, 40 minutes in?
Yeah, something like that.
In the first half an hour, or the first 20 minutes of contesting,
we were already 15 contacts.
It was already up to about 16,000 points by that stage.
Okay.
And
forget all the others, just work on 6.
Yeah. And our best distance was, there was probably 2. One was VK5BWR. He was just out of. Where was he? He was
No, he was up.
He was past Adelaide.
Whyalla way.
Yeah.
Because that's a club station.
Mm.
Because it's funny how these things happen. The guy who contacted me about the that runs the ATV repeater in Whyalla up in the Iron Triangle, and was talking about the quality on here, is from that club.
Oh, okay.
And he said, "Oh no, BWR contacted OTC and yourself." So
Sweet.
Yeah, because we at first I thought they said PWR on air.
no, there it is.
Yeah.
BWR.
Yeah, but I put them down as a PWR, and then I listened later on and heard them calling, and I did the second rework, and I knew that I'd spoken to them, and I put in BWR, and I went, oh, I've made a mistake.
Yeah,
So I went
went
back and changed it to PW because I didn't know that that was the call sign, because he actually said that time Bravo Whiskey Romeo. So.
Yeah. So yeah.
And VK4IF.
Oh yes. Who I ended up, I couldn't hear him to start with, and later I could
Change
hear
your
him.
antenna around, or?
Well, that was actually
He did
exactly
get stronger later, Scott.
well and truly, but ended up not contacting him.
Yeah.
And of course, by a little bit later, everyone disappeared.
It was actually lucky because the first time we contacted him, he was really weak, and I only knew who it was and I could hear because I knew that it was Scott VK4CZ on the mic.
Okay.
And I knew what his voice sounded like, so I could make out the numbers. If it had been anyone else, I wouldn't have been able to make it out.
Okay.
But then the second contact, he was like 5'9",
Yeah.
no problems at all.
But he was off working lots of other people, so I just and then go back to it, and they've all disappeared.
And about 10 minutes before the start of the contest, I was hearing VK1 as well, 20 over 9, and they disappeared
Right.
as soon as the contest started. So it shortened really, and then it just disappeared.
Disappeared.
So,
No, because
But we were able to hear the RAE beacon on
Yep.
270 and 1296 pretty much all day.
Okay.
So we didn't hear anyone from up in the.
So did you
7
make
RAE.
any contacts to the north?
To the north, we made a couple. We worked Peter. We didn't. We worked
DW?
DW
Yeah,
and
Andrew.
James JM
Yeah.
on
2
2
metres.
6?
No, we worked
No.
on
On 2 metres,
270, 23.
70 centimetres just,
Yeah.
like right on the edge.
But 23 was like, that's the best signal that they
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
We tried on 10 gigs and was unsuccessful, but I think we discovered that the place
And we tried on 2.4 and it was
that,
unsuccessful.
where the boys set up just wasn't optimum.
Yeah.
For talking to us.
Because they were on Mount Barrow,
Yep.
but they weren't on the southern edge.
They were on the
of
northern
Mount
face, I think, to try and work a
Barrow.
bit of DX first up.
Okay. Which there is a lot of land between you and where that gate, I think, is,
Yeah.
And
from
we've worked Peter from White Hills plenty of times, so we know that works. Whereas where he
with
was
3
there,
watts on 10 gigs, you know. Like,
Okay.
So it was a little bit sad that we didn't actually end up working anyone on 2.4 or 3.4, because the only other 2.4 and 3.4 stations
Peter.
was either Peter or was in my shed at home.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes. Which I didn't take with me, and I'm. Yeah.
But we're going to we are going to we are going to test that new dish soon and see how we go with it.
Fantastic. Okay.
But we made some contacts. It was all good.
And 10 gigs was absolutely fascinating from my perspective, because
me.
I only set up late and did the contact with Rex, and Rex actually thought at that stage
But you were here.
that I was here,
Yeah.
and so the first contact.
It's funny how we were using OTC.
Yeah. But anyway, but the first contact was that was reasonable. It was good. I think it was 5 and 5 or something like that. But the second contact, the next 2 hours, he said, "Oh, I've turned around and I'm pointing at Peter," and I sort of went, "Oh, that'll be PD. That means he's pointing north, and I'm still hearing him." And so we were both basically pointing north, and I was getting him off of scatter from somewhere.
90 watts into a 1.1 metre dish has a habit of
Scattering.
But then I had...
You were still getting back to him.
No, I'm still getting back to him, and he's pointed in the other direction. So I just sort of went... And that's a 1.2 metre dish with 3 watts.
Yeah.
So, not insignificant, but, okay. And then you came up. You actually suddenly came out of the noise, and I went,
Because
Whoa,
I got really just because I'm like, really? Because I was pointing, I knew where you were, and by
Yeah.
the time I turned, I had a quick Google Earth and went, I need to be down there. Crap, I'm pointing into the road.
Yeah.
Sort of trying to work some tourist as he drives up the hill.
Yeah.
And then I fiddled with it a little bit.
So then I ended up hearing you by turning it so it was pointing sort of straight across.
Yeah.
And then you went, and that was when we sort of gave it away.
Yeah.
Then the next time around, I think Hayden turned it just a little bit further into
Yeah.
the road, into the side of the hill, and
I looked through the scope and you had the fence, you know, the what is it? They've got that
Oh,
steel,
yeah.
that cable.
Yeah.
And what I basically did was I aimed as low as I could through that. I didn't go any lower because then the road got in the way, and then that's where you heard Justin. So.
Yeah. Okay.
well, it
And it
wasn't
was
much
as
of
far
you there.
around.
Oh no, and there wasn't much of you, but I was actually I could understand what you were saying, which I couldn't before.
But had we moved 3.5 metres to the other side of the road, you would have just been.
I know
Yeah.
it'd be dynamite.
Mm.
So
But look, it's all. But when the last time I operated up there, Rex and I worked 24 gigs. I
Yeah.
borrowed his little standby system, and that we actually experimented and pointed in all sorts of directions. It didn't matter. It was just 5 and 9,
yeah,
like no matter what.
yeah. You've got the height.
So,
We should have
That's
turned
the-
it towards the concrete tower and seen what that had done.
yeah.
Scattered it off the
Scattered
side of
off
that.
the side.
Well, hey.
And
Definitely.
yeah,
You
three
probably
months to
would have
play
been
with
able to see that through the. Do you have a scope?
No, I
you don't
didn't have a scope. I haven't got the. I've
Mm.
got the scope sitting on the workshop bench right at the moment, waiting to be mounted. So, and I thought I'm not going to need it. I'm not going to need it on the weekend because I'm going to be able to see Mount Wellington and point it in the general direction.
There was a lot of haze around though.
There was,
Mm.
and by the end of the day, I was going to see, but I'd already knew that it was between those trees there, so that was quite good. It was a bit confusing though, because when I got there, I pulled out the the phone compass as you do,
Yeah.
and I know that phone compass is a bit off because my phone sits in a cradle with magnets on it, so that it clips back into my wallet. But so I took it out and I went, no, that's not right. North is not in that direction. And then, so I went onto the maps, the list site, and it's got, the list site has a wonderful little feature on your phone that has a little arrow on it, and you push the arrow, which is put me on the map.
Oh yeah.
So use the GPS in here to put me on the map.
Yep.
And when it put me on the map, I went, yeah, that is north. And in fact,
Just looks different from this angle.
the VK4s, I was not pointing anywhere near Queensland, I can tell you now. It was more like South
Well, a
Australia.
few times, because we had 6 metre beam on the same mast as a 1296 and 70 centimetre.
We were fighting each other sometimes.
Oh, Hayden's there working all this week. I was like, I've got to turn the antenna around. I want to work the boys on
They were,
1296.
5-9. Oh, hold on. No, you're 4-1 now. We've just moved the beam.
So I'd work someone on 1296 and they'd go, quick, turn it back around. Okay, turn it back around.
I love it.
For the most
I love
part,
it.
it wasn't too much of a problem, but
I
yeah.
love it.
It was only really an issue of
But,
VK5s, I think.
Yeah. But it was pretty good. We had a bit of fun.
No, good stuff. Fantastic.
And look, it was pretty good that the guys up north had a bit of a crack. And
Well, everybody had a bit of a crack. I think.
we need some northwesterners to.
We need a little bit more participation up there, yeah.
Yeah. Take the rig up to Mount Reed or something, and
Oh,
It's a bit harsh.
I think it'd be interesting to try because we were here
I'd-
in the
I'd-
Beacon RAE on 1296,
Mm.
and I think that runs 10 watts into like an Omni.
I wouldn't mind.
or
a slot antenna or something.
I wouldn't mind going to places like
Mount George or
well there, but also maybe even like the Northwesterners could go to the Nut or
Of course they
or
could.
not Table Cape.
Table Cape,
Table,
Rocky Cape.
Table Cape, you can drive all the way there.
Yeah.
And you know they
See,
can
in
work
Burnie, you
they
can
can
go
work
to Round
VK3s and yeah.
little picnic area on Round Hills. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
plenty of places along there that are elevated above the
And-
sea.
You're looking at Bass Strait, like
Yeah.
you've got it made.
Yeah.
In actual fact, some place along there would be good to try 2.4 and 3.4 to VK5 from there.
Yeah, would.
Okay.
We just need to find someone at the other end
Sounds like a plan.
for all of our VK5
Well,
watchers.
VK5 BWR, who probably end up watching this later. If they're interested, they may be
Yep.
maybe the other end. So that's
Good.
the Iron Triangle. So
Good.
there you go. Well, that is fantastic. Any final comments about the summer VHF UHF field day?
No, I think we learned a lot. It was good.
Oh, put your log in.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Please, please, please. Put your log in.
Oh,
We even put ours in for Sunday. I worked a few on Sunday,
Okay.
which you disappeared real quickly.
Yeah,
Just saying.
I did. No, well, I don't actually know what the scenario is there. Because if I start making like home contacts or
Yeah,
rover contacts,
We
I'm
did
not
because
sure
we
how that
did one as
works.
OTC. I just did one as VK7 ZBX.
Oh yeah, yeah, no,
yeah,
no.
same.
I think I got
got
700 points or something. But
And you were saying final comments and things. We did notice one thing that walkers in particular up the mountain, their general look on their face when they walked past us was like,
What the?
what are you weirdos doing?
and it was sort of it took because there was so much sheer material for them to work with. It took them a while to sort of
Take it all in, sort of.
take it all in. So they slowed down in their walking or their jogging and sort of went.
Moving on.
And then put their head down, and then as they walked down another few metres, it was sort of like this sort of, I don't know what them guys are doing, but okay.
Okay, they're not hurting anybody. That's fine.
No, they're not indirectly hurting
It
anyone.
didn't get moved on by the council, so
The council didn't even drive past. So
yeah, he did. Come
Did
go
he?
past.
Mm.
Oh mate.
We also noticed
Yeah.
that we also figured too that maybe when we're running 10 gigs, we might have QSB when buses drive in front of the dish and stop.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think that's part of our plan. If we can elevate that extra few metres up on that bit of a bank, or
Yeah.
go out on the other side of the Armco.
Yep.
In fact, there's a couple of interesting spots just on the other side of the wire, which I think with a bit of sort of
And,
surveying, but
we've-
it's just you've got no shelter.
There's only really one other spot on the whole mountain that we probably could exploit, and that's not really good towards some areas, and it's at the summit, and there's noise on 2 metres and
Yeah,
6
yeah, yeah.
metres.
And you sort of
Now there is a spot we use the optical stuff on.
Yep.
But it's down at the chalet.
Mm.
So
Ah.
and you can actually there's enough space on the other side of the Armco to set it up because that's where we set up all the optical stuff, and we did a contact out to Ken at
Oh, Ken
Oriel.
at
There's no trees in the way though?
No. There's no trees there. That's the
Ah.
beauty of it, and there's enough there's
we
enough
looked at
room.
one spot where you come up round a fairly sharp right-hander as you're coming up,
Yep.
and
Yep.
there's like a pull-off area off to the side there with like a bit of a wall. We sort
Yeah,
of thought that
okay.
might be a good spot for.
But no, I know what
ZL.
you're talking about down
yeah,
the bottom.
Yeah.
We couldn't use that because I think there was a wedding going on there or some
Yeah.
sort of event.
There's usually a lot of people parked there because
Yeah.
they're all getting water or whatever, you know.
Or using the chalet
or
itself.
using the chalet.
They had the
Yeah.
fire going, and
Yeah. Okay. So settling in for the day.
and the other thing too that we had to consider where that pull-off area was, we had to move, especially the which was longest Yagi, 6 metres. We had to
Yeah.
move it far enough back so that the Yagi wouldn't overhang
Yeah,
over the
yeah.
road because you
Yeah.
have a bus come past and would
Yeah.
take out director Director
scratch marks down the side of the
4
bus.
and the gain would go down on the antenna. So
More importantly.
yeah, so.
Excuse me, mate. That's fine.
So what are you doing? We're trying to work VK4 here, and you're taking the front of our antenna off.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Well, that is fantastic, guys.
Yep.
So I look forward to VK7 ATC taking out the field day for VK7.
We,
Yes.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know
whether
about
that'll
that.
happen, but we talked to one of the VK4s, Kevin, VK4 UH.
Yeah.
They were involved with the site, and I think he said they were really impressed with how well they went. They did a 24-hour gig. They got
100,000.
100,000 points.
But
But
that's,
But
that's
yeah,
24 hours.
But they were up to
but they also
76
had-
gigs.
They had
Yeah.
every band, and they had people there, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think they are. That's a classic example of really good organisation.
Mm.
And the place they actually there's a photo that I've got that they sent through, and it was of the living room, and there was wine glasses on the living room table,
Yeah.
so you know it
Yeah.
wasn't sort of
So
us
they're sort of settled in.
shacking out on a blow mould table.
Yeah.
They could go and have a sleep.
That's right.
Sleep and a wine and
And a wine, it's like, yeah, no, this
It's a
is
bit of a
ridiculous.
recipe for disaster, though, I feel. I could end up on a bit of a slippery slide there.
You won't be saying OTC, I know that. Oh, that was the other difficult thing.
Yeah, you had to note to self, if you actually operate a club station or another
Don't
station,
say your own call sign.
yeah, get a big piece of cardboard and stick it up in front of the laptop.
OTC.
So a few times you go, oh, now what call sign did I use then? You
Yeah.
use ZBX. Actually, it's not ZBX. it's
Oh, and the other
OTC.
thing that we'll do next time is we'll probably get you a set of headphones as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's difficult when you're talking
There-
next to one
there's
another.
two. Yeah. Okay, no, well, fantastic. Very good indeed.
Very good.
Thank you, guys.